Nat Turner was born on October 2nd, 1800, to slave master Benjamin Turner, whose plantation was located in Southampton County, Virginia. Nat grew up playing with the slave master's children as well as attending church regularly. His master taught him how to write and read, spending a lot of time reading the Bible. Nat grew up working primarily in the house, unlike other slaves. When Nat's master Benjamin died, his plantation was left to his brother Samuel. Then, Nat's father escaped to the north, abandoning his wife and son. Samuel put Nat to work in the fields, unlike the jobs he had before. This put Nat into a Great Depression, but his love of the Bible kept his spirits up. In 1812, Turner left the plantation to go live in the woods for a month. He had a religious experience telling him to fulfill his true destiny. This caused him to return to the plantation. Years later, Nat married another slave from the same plantation whose name was Cherry. When slave owner Samuel Turner died, Cherry and Nat were split up. Nat was then sold to Thomas More.
Throughout his adulthood, Turner believed that he had a great purpose in life, and after he lived in the woods, he began receiving visions from God. From then on, he believed he was meant to attack the institution of slavery. He had visions of black and white spirits at war, as well as visions where he was told to take up the cause of Christ. In February of 1831, an eclipse of the sun made Turner believe that it was his time to begin his rebellion. He took his time and began to gather other slaves to help him. The rebellion didn't actually start until months later, on August 21st, 1831, when Turner and 6 other slaves killed the Travis family, on whose farm Turner had been a slave on for over a year. Turner managed to get firearms and horses and enlisted other slaves and free black men to be a part of his rebellion. They took money, supplies, and firearms as they traveled from house to house, killing whites and recruiting more followers. By the time the citizens of Southampton were aware of the rebellion, Turner and his followers' numbers were between 50 and 60 slaves and free black men. The state militia fought Turner, who managed to kill 55 white Southerners and escape capture.
After Turner's rebellion, more than 50 slaves who were accused of participating in the revolt were sent to trial. There were 20 judges, all of whom were slave owners, that acquitted a few of the slaves and sentenced the rest to execution. Turner was able to hide successfully for 6 weeks before being discovered, convicted, and hung in Jerusalem, Virginia, with 16 more of his followers. Despite the execution of Turner and many of his followers, there was still a state of fear and vengeance in Virginia. People expressed their outrage through daily articles in the local newspaper. The articles showed their anger against the cruelties perpetrated by the rebellion. People also boasted about how many blacks they had killed. Many whites went to plantations to torture, burn, and maim any blacks they saw. Any slaves that were distrusted by their masters would be pointed out, and if they tried to escape, they were shot. Those that were seeking out and attacking blacks were trying to send a message to any slave that was thinking about rebelling. One group of white militia killed 40 blacks and then put their heads on poles as a gruesome reminder of what would happen if many slaves were to revolt. Laws were also enacted to keep slaves from learning to read and write in order to keep them ignorant. Despite Turner's rebellion being short-lived, it left lasting effects on both slaves and slave owners.